Life is so busy, if you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for CanFit Pro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-improvement, setting your goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Hello, everyone, and welcome back, Moment with Mo. And I'm Mo, and I'm so excited to be here today for many, many reasons. And I'm going to focus on just three of those many reasons. First of all, I'm extremely blessed to have three award-winning guests with me today. Secondly, we're going to talk about three of my most favorite subjects: leadership, women's empowerment, and events. And when you bring that all together, well, for me, it's like winning a lottery. But here's what we're going to focus on today. Bringing those three special things together is all about an event called All Women Lead. And I love to challenge the status quo. For those who know me, you know that when someone says it's impossible, I say the opposite. I'm possible. That's actually in the same word. And I really love to create motion. That is, really challenge that status quo to create things that perhaps no one has imagined is possible, and to bring it forward into the world so people can benefit from what we get to create. So my three guests today, they have created something amazingly special that I wanted to share with my audience, and that is you. So let's jump right in. I'd like to bring into the studio my dear friend, Melissa Maloney, Jennifer Slay, and Courtney Hance. Welcome along.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mo.
And another exciting piece about this episode is this is the first time I've had three guests in one studio at a time. So I'm super blessed. Thank you all. I guess we're going to be the four musketeers for the next 29 minutes. And with that, I'd love to just introduce you all to these three amazing women. First of all, Melissa Maloney. And Melissa we've worked together for many, many years, and I'm always learning something about Melissa. So first of all, for everyone that is not aware, Melissa is an award-winning leader and has dedicated her career to supporting teams in driving a highly engaged and successful workforce. Melissa has spent over 20 years as a sales and operations executive with a focus on health, wellness, and employee well-being, and being a voice for equity, inclusion, and belonging in the workplace. Melissa is the founder of Happy Leader Enterprises and is the co-founder of All Women L.E.A.D. Welcome, Melissa.
Thanks, Mo.
And I'll have to tell at least one story in our episode today about our very, very exciting time we've had together, working together in the fitness industry. One of those stories has got to creep out.
Probably.
All right. Don't be shy, girl. All right. Jennifer Slay. Jennifer is an award-winning speaker as well as the recipient of the prestigious Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal for her community work. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jennifer has spoken for educational institutions, businesses, and companies like Western and McMaster, TD Canada Trust, and Learners Law Firm, just to name a few. A graduate of Western, King's, and McMaster universities, Jennifer has 2 bachelor's and 1 master's degree. She is a certified trainer of the extended disc and a trainer in EMDR therapy. Most recently, she was asked to be the host of a community television show called What's Up London, after co-producing an award-winning show called Melanated View. In December 2022, Jennifer became the Director of Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, and Decolonization at King's University College here in London, Ontario. Welcome.
Thank you.
And so many accolades. My goodness, my friend, I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to learn from you today. And finally, to make up our four musketeers, we have Courtney Hance. Courtney is well known for her extensive experience, community leadership, and dedication to the marketing communications profession. Also, as an award winning leader, business owner, and entrepreneur, community contributor, and a mentor with over 20 years' experience, she has an unwavering commitment to leading with integrity, inclusion, empathy, and compassion. Courtney is the proud founder of an award winning boutique agency, the branding firm Inc., as well as the co founder and creative director at Envision Concepts. Welcome, Courtney.
Thanks, Mo. Nice to be here.
All right. Well, my friends, before we dive into everything about leadership of women's empowerment and events, that being All Women Lead, I'd love just to kick off, since it's still fresh of the new year, how your new year is moving along thus far. And perhaps I could ask you to bravely share if you have declared a word or words or a mantra or a goal for this year. I'll share mine first, just to get us started. I couldn't come up with one word, so I decided on three. And those are care, change, and power. They came to me in a really fun exercise in which I could really power up my natural gift of intuition and really find words that would align with my purpose and my mission and my vision. We're going to talk about all of that too today. So on that note, I'm just going to throw it out there. Who would like to go first and share either a word, words, mantra, or goal for 2024?
I can go. Okay, so I do not like the word balance. However, at the same time, my words for this year are prioritized balance, meaning that because I'm so busy, I do so many things and I love everything that I do, but I want to make sure that I'm prioritizing what needs to happen when it needs to happen while balancing the rest of my life. Not necessarily equally, but with priority. So that's my
Ooh,
goal.
I think you should coin that. That is an interesting.
I think so.
Everybody is always seeking that definition and how to really find balance. And I love how you turn that into a real strategy for success personally, and I'm sure professionally, because we bring personal and profession together with all the things we love to do.
For sure.
That's a big act to follow. Who's next?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jen. Everybody always should flip a coin for who gets to follow Jen. No, you know what? I love that. First and foremost, I'm not one on work-life balance necessarily, but I have a similar one. So I'm not going to talk about that in relation to what Jen mentioned there, but I'm going to talk about two different other words. One is self-care, and you would have heard that in our question of the month with our All Women L.E.A.D community. And just as a follow-up to that, for those that did see it, I am learning guitar, and I am trying to find some time for me and just me, and a creative outlet, because that's a huge part of my world. So self-care is something that I haven't prioritized previously as much as I should have, and I certainly am doing that this year. And the second word is, so I've got self in that one, and this one I'm going to say unity. And I'm really big on that word and the sentiment behind it, and just understanding that we are all stronger together, and doing things there's, one of my phrases, my team here would speak to it, is there's unity in community. And that's something we're incorporating into our All Women L.E.A.D language as well. And it's important, and there's strength in community too. So I'm just leaning into that a lot more, and recognizing that we all don't have to do everything, but rather leaning on everybody's strengths to, kind of help achieve the common goal.
Wow. Love that. Unity is community. Brilliant. Whew. Okay. Melissa.
Awesome. I was going to throw it to Jen first. She's always good for having these things right at the top of her head. So I have two words. My first one is curiosity, which anybody who knows me knows that's a word that I actually live by all the time. But I have a couple really exciting projects on the go this year that I'm going to really power up my curiosity, because I think I always say it is already my superpower, but I know with a couple things I'm working on, it's going to be even bigger this year. And the other one for me is boundaries. which is just something as a whole that I've been working on and trying to get better at, more in my personal life than in my professional life. I've gotten better at saying no to things and recognizing that everything I say yes to means I'm saying no to something else. But I think boundaries is still something that I'm definitely actively working on and trying to just make sure that I'm prioritizing the right things in the right way and not being afraid of the consequence of putting up those boundaries, which has always been sort of my hesitation and my hindrance.
Oh, I commend you. That is courage to set boundaries. And often you hear that when you say, it's hard to say no to things, right? Because we're always wanting to lean in and lift others up and help others. But by saying no, to some of those things, you can say yes to the best things and give more of yourself and the
Exactly.
best self to those. And that ties back into self-care as well. And so good for you. And I will say, and probably that's one of my fondest memories of working with you, Melissa, is you always have been that curious leader, which allows you to be a really good listener. And that's where leadership can lack sometimes, is we always feel that we have to have all the answers and always be sharing knowledge. But often the superpower is to say less and to listen more. And curiosity is that really essential skill that I know for me, I have to work on that. But you always led with curiosity. And it was a great example or great mentorship for many of us at Good Life Fitness, where we work together. Thank you. Wow, that was a fantastic icebreaker or kickoff. I'm already excited. And I think we could always even end here and it'd be such good nutrition, but we're not. I'm going to actually start with Melissa with one of three questions that I'm going to invite each of you to answer a different question, but they all add up to incredible information around what All Women Lead is about. So Melissa, my question to you is, please share with us why you created All Women Lead and why.
Definitely. So Jen and I, we co-authored a book together. So that's actually how we know each other. And we both had practices, my consulting company and her social work practice, where we were focusing on happiness. And that led to Jen making the phone call. She gets the credit for the original phone call, saying, Mel, we should do something together. And we went for lunch. And when we were really sort of brainstorming about what our opportunities were, it was around the time when empathy in the workplace was becoming a big conversation. So this was fall 2019. Black Lives Matter movement was really present at the time. There's a lot of things going on in the world, and people were looking for sort of a different type of leader, which both Jen and I, being trained in emotional intelligence, led us to sort of recognize the opportunity that things like empathy and caring and some of those characteristics that women tend to be more naturally allowed to lean into were really what people were looking for in leadership. And we saw that as an opportunity to build a platform to help women lead into that and really come together in community around the fact that this was our opportunity as women to really step into leadership and to shine. And I always say to people, we didn't have a lot of like really clear, like it has to be this or it has to be that. But we kind of had two things right from the very first conversation that was super important to us. And one of those things was diversity. We said right from day one that we would never have an all-white panel. It was really important to us that people could see themselves in the speakers that we had anytime we had an event, and that they could look on the stage and sort of have that belief that if they're doing it, I can too. And the second thing that was super important to us right from the start was that we wanted it to be real. We wanted it. We didn't want the filtered conversations. We didn't want the inauthenticity that happens of where we're saying the things because it's the right thing to say and it's what we've been taught we're supposed to say. We didn't want any of that. We wanted it to be real and we wanted it to be raw. And I shared this week in one of my video posts, a big chunk of this was I had spent my whole career, and Mo, you worked with me all those years when I say I grew up with Good Life. I'd spent my career being challenged in my performance reviews and being told, congratulations on being so successful your way. And I was always struggled with it. I was like, what does that mean? Is that bad? What's that mean? But I came to realize it was because I was caring and I was empathetic and I led with my heart. And initially, early in my career, that was sort of being deemed to me as something I had to change. And I just joke now that I was just ahead of my time and that I was just preparing for all of this. But that was really sort of where this came from. Where it's evolved to is not, I don't think at all, when Jen and I sat down and had that lunch that day, that we thought we'd be here. But definitely that was sort of the foundation of why we did this and what we were trying to build.
Wow. And I love the fact that what you led with has evolved as your community's needs continue to evolve. And I love when we work in community, how much, we may have been the catalyst to start it, but we learn as much from our members and from our community that then helps us continue to lead and innovate and create. And that's the part of entrepreneurship that I absolutely love, because by definition, I never saw myself as an entrepreneur. But if we're in the space to be creative and risk takers and bold, and your way being your way and accepted and invited to lean into, that's, really the opportunity for true entrepreneurship. So I love it. And I've watched All Women Lead, grow from infancy to where it is. And it's still very young, but you're already very wise beyond your years as All Women Lead. And we'll talk about why that is with the success you've had so quickly and for good reason. So thank you for sharing that. Courtney, I'd love you to take it from here and share what All Women Lead's mission and vision is, and how you define the difference between mission and vision. I find people aren't quite sure of the difference. So take it away.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mo. And just to comment on that too, I mean, I too have been kind of watching along the sidelines. I'm the newer partner, right? I'm the third partner in, having just joined this summer, but having watched and been one of I think the initial phone calls from Melissa to kind of say, here's what we're attempting to do, Jen and I, and could you come along and help us, kind of build a brand? And that's from a sponsorship perspective years ago. I understood then what the vision was. And the vision is kind of like a very long-term, where are we headed in the grand scheme of things? And then how are we going to accomplish that? And that is always, to me, the difference between kind of long-term thinking and short-term thinking in the mission. And the mission can sometimes adapt as we go along. And visions can too. I'm a big one. I think mission and visions personally are a little bit archaic, but we guide ourselves by them. I like to look at things in terms of experiential and promising ways. I know intrinsically, though, all three of us are very much aligned. And I think one of the biggest things that we saw this year was when Mel and Jen and I talked about, kind of me coming on board, it was like, well, we're looking to level up. And that's really, if you have that song in your head, I had that song in my head when Mel said it, and I was like, all right, I'm in, like, let's go, what's happening? And I think ultimately a lot of that has to do with growth, continued impact, continued, kind of evolution. Certainly we're looking, I think All Women Lead came in strong in 2019 in London. But over the years, as we'll have looked at some of the speakers that have joined, we're starting to have more of that global reach. And so that is certainly a part of our story, a part of the vision, and looking at creating as our mission, the global community of women who are rewriting what it is to lead. But I think we have to also look at that from the vision is not to, if we look at our fundamental goals and who we are as an organization, inclusion is a huge part of that. And so I think it's really important for me right now to emphasize that we create a very safe space for women, but allies are also welcome. And so we've this year really focused on how can allies be more involved with All Women Lead. We certainly are expecting allies to show up at our upcoming event. And how can we create a space and a forum for them to engage and support and ensure that change can happen, because we can't do it without them. So that's really been a lot of how we've kind of evolved. There's some leveling up. I'm going to talk about an announcement, but I'm not going to do that yet. There's a lot of things happening, but think growth, think impact, think global community. Again, that unity and community underpinning and phrasing is really key.
Brilliant. Oh, wow. It's so much. I feel like I've just been fed so much good insight into how, missions and visions are created and implemented, and how it really is just, sends us on our journey, but also how you bring the like-mindedness, but unique talents of leadership, such as the three of you, to then, level it up. And even sometimes in business and in communities such as this, it's about taking it down new paths that have yet to be carved or created. So fabulous, fabulous insight there. And I can't wait for your announcement. Jen.
Yes.
And I hope that announcement's coming here in this podcast. Or you're going to have to say something.
I'm going to tease it. I'm not going to give you the full announcement. But
all right. I'm good with teasers. We're good with teasers, right, everyone? All right, Jen, how do the values of All Women Lead contribute to shaping a nurturing and empowering organizational culture? And why do you believe these values are crucial for All Women Lead and or any organization?
Thank you, Mo. So to me, it's interesting that you started the show with what are the words, because I have words to respond to this question. And the three words are authenticity, support, and humility. And I'll just explain that a little bit. So I am a firm believer that how things are going at the top in terms of the people that are organizing, the creators, the hosts, that's going to trickle down to the rest of the organization. And so it's really important to us that we're authentic, and we will catch each other. We will talk to each other, and sometimes, we don't duke it out, but we'll make sure to, have those honest, hard conversations with one another. And that trickles down into our community that we've built, as well as shows on the stage when we have events, or on the panel discussions in our virtual events. So authenticity is extremely important to us. Being real, being who you are. Support is also very important, because you can't get anywhere alone in isolation. We all need somebody. Anybody who's successful has needed somebody to support them along the way in some way. And so we really try to support the women that are in our community, whether that is through shout outs, whether that's through attending their events, or providing them with opportunities to be able to showcase some of their events within the community. Some people might want to create a workshop. I need to throw this out. I need some feedback, all of that type of things. We're really big on ensuring that we're supporting one another, the three of us, as well as the women that are in our community. And then humility, because we're not always going to get it right. And to be able to admit, I wasn't, that wasn't cool. So how can I do better? I'm a firm believer in that quote by Maya Angelou: once you know better, you do better. Right. So the more you learn and can understand where you went wrong, you do better next time. There's no shame and all that kind of stuff. That's unnecessary. We need to just keep moving on. And so all of that really builds into emotional intelligence, right? When you're high in emotional intelligence, those things, the authenticity, the support, humility, that just becomes who you are. And I think because the three of us are so invested in that kind of trickles down to our community. That's what our community is. That's what we're building. And, we ensure that people know that when they're coming in, and understand that. One of the comments that we get from our events when people leave our events is, wow, that was a breath of fresh air. You really said what was on my mind, but nobody ever really says it, right? We're not shy to do that. Like, what's the point of having those girlfriend chats to the side when we could do it and have like big girlfriend chats together, right? So that's what we're building. That's what we're building.
Brilliant. I love, and thank you for digging into those 3 key values of authenticity, support, and humility. And right off the top, you said that sometimes, you banter together and challenge each other. Well, that's support as well. Sometimes support is giving each other a little push where we need it. I also believe strongly that women need to do more of that, as do allies, for women in leadership roles, because we do have something to contribute, but at the same time, by pulling someone down, it really is not the way for you yourself to level up or lead. It's by bringing people with you. I mean, what's leadership if you're on the path by yourself? And really, leadership is creating the path for others to follow. I love the word leader. I used to break it down from the Euro-Greek language of pathfinder. That's leader. And I really believe that, support is helping each other, supporting each other, even when it's a tough conversation, having that emotional intelligence to say what is important to say, even if it's not going to feel good for that recipient at first. But boy, oh boy, I'm sure all of us have had experiences where sometimes those very vulnerable or crucial conversations have come back to be much of gratitude. Thank you for helping me do better, because by knowing how to be better, I can then do better. So thank you. It's so important. And if as leaders for us, I always think, support is not just lifting the rope in the lineup at the hottest, nightclub for all your girlfriends to come into the, talk to the bouncer, get in and go in by yourself. Like, what's the point? You want to lift each other, support, lift the rope, support your girlfriends, get them in with you. And I think that's an important lesson to learn. Beautifully said. As all of you know, and as my community knows, if they know me, I'm a royal fan of women's empowerment events. I'm proud to be a member of the All Women L.E.A.D community. I love attending events. And while I've learned, the art of engaging in online events, which I'm so grateful for, otherwise I wouldn't have seen anyone during the years of COVID, but we've learned a lot about how to bring people together in now the hybrid world, a choice of in-person or online. I really, being at events, especially in person, fuels my passion. It's that desire and that I share, but also I also have a greater desire when I walk out of events to really level up myself, and the courage from learning from the speakers. And I've been at your event, and it was not only a breath of fresh air, it was also it was a metaphysical energy that I felt. What I mean by that is I felt empowered, but I also felt the need to physically do something with where I'm at in my career. And I was inspired by your event last year, and I can't wait for this year. I'm very honored that I'll be on the panel speaking, but even if I wasn't, I wouldn't miss it for the reasons that always fuel my purpose. And the word I'm going to share and then throw out to all of you to comment on is achieve. That word is how I feel when I come to an event like All Women L.E.A.D. And I also created an event that I started in the fitness industry called Women Who Influence. And it was all around the similar premise or platform. But I'd love to ask all of you, or each of you, just jump in as you'd like. What is key around achieve? Because I know that's how we are inspired when we leave an event like All Women L.E.A.D to achieve, but achieve on different levels. Yeah. Personally, professionally, and mentally, physically, emotionally. Talk a little bit about that and what achieve is going to be about in this event this year.
Yeah,
Who's going?
I can start this one. So I think so for those who don't know, LEAD stands for leverage, empower, achieve, and do, which were they're sort of the four words that we created right from the start as our guiding principles to kind of what are we trying to accomplish, what are we trying to give women permission to do, and we're saying, leverage, empower, achieve, and do. And so for me, the achieve is, I think it's important to recognize it's not about a title. It's not about having to be the CEO of an organization. It's not about those things. Achieve is about achieving for you. What that looks like for every single person in our audience is going to be different and unique. And what somebody connects with is going to be different and unique. And so we really look to highlight women who have had a great level of success at this event, but that success might be an internal success. It might be a career success. It might be an advocacy success. There's lots of different ways that achievement looks. And I think the biggest thing I always challenge people who I have the opportunity to speak to is to consider, like, what does achievement look like for you? Because I think we're conditioned to think achievement, especially when we think about it from a work perspective, achievement means do more, up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder. And that doesn't necessarily equal achievement to most people. Or to it could to a lot, but it's not necessarily to all. And so I think it's really important to recognize in ourselves that achievement for me is fulfillment. Achievement means fulfillment to me. And that might mean different things to different people. But if I look to myself, I'm not going to feel like I've achieved if I don't feel fulfilled.
That's a mic drop. I feel. Let's ponder that for a moment. If you don't feel fulfilled, then it doesn't help you feel like you've achieved. Wow. And like you said, Melissa, so many times, there are many, I won't say all, but I know sometimes high achievers are so busy doing, they forget to be in the moment, feeling fulfilled. Therefore, they don't feel like they've achieved because they're not fulfilled. I mean, it is very much interrelated. And perhaps the message there is, if we sometimes doing less and feeling more fulfillment will equal more achievement in how you define achievement or how you achieve. I love that. Thank you. It's exactly what I was hoping you would share, because we get caught up in that word and what it means. And it's not about title. When we look at the levels of, identity, often we get lost in, without a title, who are we? It makes me think of Robin Sharma, the leader without a title. Yeah. Jen, or feel free, anybody else, like Courtney, Jen, do you want to jump in there?
Sure. So for me, achieve really speaks to doing something that you thought you wouldn't have been able to do. And that could be anything. It could be the person that's in the audience thinking, oh man, how am I going to be able to go to my kids' basketball games this season and also do my work? And then they go through it and they do it. And it's like, oh man, I did it. I achieved something, right? So for me, it could be, and it could be the other way, professionally, getting to a place where you didn't think you'd ever be. For example, I'm currently the director of equity, diversity, inclusion, and decolonization at a university. That was never in my purview, ever, right? And it's like, wow, I did that. I didn't think I ever would be able to, but I did it. So achievement could be anything. But and I agree with Melissa, it's very personal. Right?
Yeah. Wow. It reminds me of, off the top of the show, we talked about the word impossible, and within that word, I'm possible.
Yeah.
And imagining, doing things that you didn't think you could do. And often people will say, and we know everyone is surrounded by those who lift you up, but those that may want to hold you back. I call them the negative Nellies or the dream stealers. They don't want to see you succeed because for some reason it makes them feel less of a person, or whatever the reason. But I love how you said that, is doing something you don't think you can do. And boy, does that ever make you feel satisfied. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Like you said, how do I do my work, fulfill my career, but also be a great mom or get to my kids' sports and everything and find that balance, that prioritized balance at the same time, because that also leads to feeling achievement.
Yeah.
So thank you. Wow. Well, Courtney, you want to round it out and share?
Absolutely. I'd love to. Thanks, Mo. And I love your I'm possible, by the way. I really do like that. I think, off the comments by Mel and Jen, one of the things I just want to say to kind of round this conversation off on achievement is just taking the time to stop, because we just acknowledged sometimes we don't do it, to stop and recognize for yourself what you've achieved. And then potentially, if you're comfortable with it, share that with somebody else in hopes to maybe inspire them, or, kind of in a mentorship capacity or in a guidance capacity, or surely just to share some stories, right? And I think if we look at our event, we look at recognition, we look at sharing stories, which is what our event is really centered on. And we're so looking forward to hearing your story as well, since you're one of our amazing speakers for our Achieve event. And then also looking at celebrating that. And I think that's the other piece. It's like sometimes we don't take the time to stop and reflect and recognize an achievement when it's past. Sometimes we need to do that for the small ones. And sometimes we need to do that for the big ones and everything in between. And then on the other side of it, just like not only stopping and recognizing it, but celebrating it. And I think that's the biggest thing. So for me, that is something we do. I do intrinsically with my team. I encourage other people to do it. And I know at All Women Lead, it's so important to us, which is why we want people to join us on the stage, share their stories, celebrate their achievements, hopefully inspire others.
And inspire others. Yeah, I can envision it now as, as the speakers will share and be inspired by and relate to. That's the big one that you work on so well, is helping everyone connect with and see themselves in that speaker or that story. And then almost say, because you're so moved that I can envision it now. I always would lean over and say to my friend who I brought, oh my God, I can see that's possible for me too. And get as equally excited. I am now going to break out of my fear, because if Melissa can do it, I darn well can do it. It's like that is the fuel that really does take achievement and move it into opportunity for every single person. I know we could keep talking about that. I hope all of you who are listening or watching really have gained a deeper understanding of how diverse achievement is in its definition and in what it means to all of us at all levels. I want to jump in because I do know we have a rapid round of questions around this. I'm going to share what's happening at this upcoming event on March 4th. It is deemed to be a historical event here in Southwestern Ontario. And I would love just to ask all of you to highlight for us the speakers, the sponsors that are supporting this event, perhaps why, and shed light on the details of the event so that those who are not aware, or more importantly, have not yet registered for All Women Lead, you will want to take action immediately after hearing this episode. So, Jen, what do we start with you? Cover off some aspect of the event.
Okay. So when people come to this event, they are going to see vendors or exhibitors from all different places. Like, for example, they will have jewelry, there will be health services, there will be food, there will be small business, there will be authors. There's just so much, and all mainly owned and operated by women. So that's going to be amazing in itself, right? And what else? Our
Panelists,
amazing panelists. So Mo, you are one of them. We also have Soraya Fidel. We have Françoise Babazi, and facilitated by Mojde Cox. And so that in itself is going to be powerful. But then I'm going to let Melissa tell the rest. That in itself is going to be powerful.
And next?
Yeah, and so we're super excited. Our keynote speaker this year is none other than the incredible Julie Black. Mo, you and I have had the opportunity to see her speak and perform many times together, and I think we both know how incredible that time is. Julie has transitioned and transformed her career from the recording artist that she is to an advocate and an empowerment leader. And she's doing so many incredible things. I always say to people, like, it's just a really special performance because you get Julie talking, a little bit of Julie singing, you get a little bit of it all, which is incredible, but she is sure to leave everybody feeling inspired. So we're really excited about that. We have some other entertainment, though, coming as well. Anybody who joined us last year knows we have an official DJ now, and that's DJ Zara, and she's just an absolutely so cool. This just an incredible young woman. She's going to be DJing for us and spinning the latest stuff for us again, which is amazing. And we're going to be opening our day with the incredible Mary Lou Smoke. So she is going to be bringing, starting our day with some traditional, bit of a traditional ceremony, a little bit different than a land acknowledgement. And for those of you who've not had the pleasure of having Mary Lou Smoke at an event, she is fantastic. She'll make you smile, she'll make you think, and she's definitely a great way to open up the day.
Absolutely. And one of the key differences in an in-person event, which you are also live streaming, I believe, is creating experiences and not just having speakers, just talk at the audience. And so what an incredible way to create an experience. And it is from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave. And I think last year you had to kick some of us out because everybody just wanted to stay. So yes, so many great things. There'll be, I'm sure, some prizes. And then, did I hear anything about a special announcement?
You might have heard about a special announcement. But before I go to that, I just want to recognize our sponsors because you heard me talk about this unity and community piece. And I think the three of us are overwhelmed by the support from our community and just so grateful, so grateful. So we would love to obviously acknowledge all of them, but we would be here for quite a while. We have 19 sponsors this year in total, which is just absolutely incredible. But I think so. While I will send much love and gratitude on behalf of all three of us to all of them, I think I'll just say we really couldn't have done it without our title sponsor, Learners, who has just supported the season and is just. They're so supportive of All Women Lead, always coming to our events, out in the community, sharing the word. So we're so grateful for Learners and their support. And I would acknowledge our two gold sponsors being LBMX and TD, who have come on board this year and are supporting us as well. And so acknowledging that, and that there's like 15 others, 16 others, there's a lot. And so just thank you from all of us for those that may hear this. And then yes, announcement. So I can't say it because we are announcing it that day. But what I will say is that it is certainly aligning with a few keywords. So if you want to take these words and then maybe put something together, well, who knows? You might be right. So global being one word, this helps us with global, both in awareness and also just recognizing that there's a certain empowerment that comes from education and talking about gender equalities and specifically in the workplace. So those are obviously aligned, that theme is aligned with the topics that we talk about and certain, posts that we make on social media and our ability to kind of share in that capacity. So growth, think connection, think obviously that leveling up theme is coming in here. So there's a level up, and this is going to really be something special and a new benefit for our membership. And so I will leave it there. It will certainly inspire those that aren't members to maybe potentially be members, but it's a juicy one. And let's just say we have a co-collaborator on this one.
Oh,
I'm going to stop there later. I'm going to start giving stuff away. So there.
Okay. Wow. Well, thank you. That was a good, juicy teaser. And Courtney, can you just cover off for us, for those who may not have heard about this event or purchased a ticket yet, tell us about how people can register and what would be included in their ticket.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we do. Obviously, there's so many things, as everybody's covered, the entertainment experiences, prizes and vendors, and connection opportunities, like unlimited connection opportunities, let alone what's going to be happening on the stage with all our amazing speakers. So if somebody hasn't got a ticket or a table, because those are available too, for a limited time on the in-person, because we're really, really excited to announce that we are over 80% sold, and Last Minute London is becoming not so last minute London. And let's remember that this isn't just for London. So if you're in other areas and you want to travel to London and join us at RBC Place, you can visit our website, allwomenlead.ca, and there's a very quick link. You won't be able to miss it to purchase your tickets. And then you can also look to, if you're not in the area, well, we are, like you said, Mo, we're live streaming. So we have a virtual ticket that you can purchase, again, on the website. Those will be up for sale, obviously, a little bit more than our in-person tickets, which we're selling out quick. So if you don't have one, grab one. But here's the deal. If you're not a member, you should be a member, because with your ticket, if you buy your ticket, one of the many benefits of being a member is that you can receive 50% off of your ticket price for our big in-person upcoming International Women's Day event. And so by the time you get your 50% off, or you pay for your full price for your ticket, you're getting a full year of membership for free. So really and truthfully, I think you're going to regret not doing it that way. So I encourage anybody that's listening, hasn't got a membership or a ticket, do it in that sequence. Membership, then purchase in-person ticket, and encourage all your friends to come with you.
Fantastic. And the website one more time?
allwomenlead.ca.
There you go. Well, thank you. That's a great way to wrap things up. I'm so excited. I have a table. I'm bringing my friends, and I'm super excited for all the reasons shared today. But most importantly, just to be part of this incredible community. It's how we all have the opportunity to learn, grow, and to be supported, and to step out of our comfort zone. And for many of the other words that were shared here today, level up. That's a great one. So I want to close off today and share an experience that was really a reminder of, not to mention why it's important to actually work in an office with other people or be in a different space than always being at your home office. A little plug for those that are struggling with that. How do I get back into the office and get my staff to do the same? But I was working in my home office this week, and in a favorite space, one of our rooms. And Melissa, you will remember this room, I am certain. It really states not only about being around the people, but this room had a mural on the wall, and the mural says, "Life is about moments. Don't wait for them, create them. You're never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream." And by the way, that is a song called "Growing Older But Not Up" by the one and only Jimmy Buffett. And those are some of the lyrics that are on a mural with a carousel in one of the offices that I was working at just yesterday. And it really resonated with me because I was thinking about today's episode and thought it was just a really perfect thought to leave you all with. So I want to thank all of these 3 powerful, award-winning, and most amazing, authentic women for being here today. Thank you so much for your contribution to A Moment with Mo, which is really having authentic conversations that help inspire and move people forward in action in the way that they truly feel is their purpose in this wonderful life that we all get to live. I also want to congratulate you all on just what you've achieved, because I'm watching it and I know how much work goes into events like this. And so I'm so excited to come and celebrate with all of you on March 4th at RBC Place in London, Ontario, if you're joining us in person. Otherwise, from wherever you're coming into from around the globe, be sure to be there. And lastly, please go to www.mohagan.com. You can also learn about All Women Lead and connect there to find out more about the All Women Lead community and event. But also, you can print off my gift to all of you here today and for my community, and that is my Mo's Guide to 2024. It will help you work through finding and articulating, perhaps, or revisiting your why and finding your words for 2024. So, from all of us to all of you, thank you so much. And until next time, keep moving.